Hi, this is Donald here. I wanted to post a review of a book I just read called A Book of Luminous Things. So, A Book of Luminous Things, an international anthology of poetry, is written by a Polish poet who lives in the United States called Czeslaw Milosz, which I might be pronouncing completely wrong. It's a compilation of about 300 poems from the world, ranging from ancient times to more modern, to the 1990s. The author has purposely given a little bit more emphasis to the lesser-known poets, so there's a good balance between some of the more famous poets and some of the lesser-known ones. The author has divided the book into different themes, and before each theme he gives a little introduction and writes some of his musings on it as well. The author has picked out some shorter poems in this book, so you're not going to see poems that are longer than 2 pages, and most of the poems are only half a page. So I bought a physical copy of the book, and I found the book to be quite elegant. It has a beautiful cover, the size, the paper, and the font were all very nice. I enjoyed just holding it in my hands and flipping through. And it looked really nice on my coffee table, or in my case, I use a kotatsu, and it also looked nice on my bookshelf. Because there are so many themes in this book, there's a lot of different cultures and eras you can enjoy. There's a little bit of something for everybody here. Not every theme might be that interesting, and not all of them were terribly interesting to me, but it was nice to get a different perspective on a lot of different themes. I did feel that the poems started out strong, but by halfway I felt that they were getting a little bit weaker and personally less interesting or insightful to me. And now this isn't true for all of the poems, but this is a general trend I felt. I did find the quantity of Chinese poems to be a bit too much, and there were plenty of good Chinese poems, but a lot of times the authors were repeated, and the styles were very similar. And I felt like he could have replaced a couple of those with other Asian, like Korean and Japanese, which I don't feel like they got represented as much, or even South American or African or, other areas of the world. So would I recommend this book? I would definitely recommend this book. It's a very good value and a good keeper if you're buying a physical copy. So prose. It was physically nice and elegant. It was very easy to read. The poems were accessible, which what I mean by that is the length and the complexity varied, and it was a pleasure to read. I didn't get burnt out on many poems, and sometimes when I wanted a simple poem, I got one, and there are other poems which were more complicated. I personally thought there was plenty of variety, and the poems were interesting and offered a nice, unique perspective. I feel like for the most part, the poems were all well written, and the author had a keen eye when he picked them out. For the cons, I felt that the poems got weaker halfway through. That's personally just what I felt. And I felt that the Chinese poets were overrepresented. And I would have liked to see other Asian, like Korean or Japanese, or African or South American or other areas more represented. Well, that's my review for A Book of Luminous Things. These were just my opinions. You may or may not agree. Whatever the case, I appreciate if you leave a comment or leave any suggestions in the comments below. Thanks.